maybe a little bit skinny, but she's not a very good actress. Because if and I didn't think about it at this time because I didn't see the second movie. I saw the first movie and I enjoyed the first movie and I enjoy her as Wonder Woman. But when you listen to her and listen to all the other women that were stuck on the island, she can't get over her accent.
Right.
So her accent was a little, and I wasn't thinking about the accent until I was looking at a couple of other shows, uh, uh, which that doesn't bother me. But you're gonna have people out there that it seems like you got to gripe about something.
I mean,
it's just like sports. You gripe about Jordan, you gripe about Kobe, you gripe about LeBron James. You're trying to figure out which one is the best, which one is the GOAT. And when you think about it, is all opinion.
well, all of his opinion, but the thing about it is, it's just like if you're looking at it from an acting perspective and expect your accent, I think me personally, I think you kind of want her you want her to sound exotic. That's just me. And then also,
Yeah.
when we're looking at all the other action flicks, I think that in my opinion, that's just a very it's a very minor critique because when we look at
Mm-hmm.
all of our action flicks, Arnold Schwarzenegger,
Right.
what's his
Right.
name? What's his name? Michael, the one that the getaway driver, the one with the British accent, Jean Claude Van Damme.
Oh yeah.
All them, they were a lot of times they were American troops or whatever, and they had
Mm-hmm.
different accents. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
So we don't heavily critique them like that.
Right. You're
So
absolutely right.
so to me, that's just like it's like a minor critique. It's just
Yeah.
like you know if, then another thing with a woman, it's just like she can't be sexy enough and this and she can't wear this and that.
Mm.
It's just like okay, cool, but at some point, can we just judge her on you know just her acting?
I
And,
think they're making us depends on who else he finds. I thought she was the perfect Wonder Woman. I mean, she played the role
yeah,
well.
I do. I didn't have any doubts about her, and I mean
Mm-hmm.
until you said that even come in my mind.
Well, I mean, I was just saying what
Right,
they
I
had
know. Right,
said, but
I know.
yeah,
You're reiterating what they said, but
yeah.
until you brought it to my attention, I never even thought about it. I've just even.
I
It's just been like just an acting.
tell you, I didn't. It was something about the Aquaman, the guy that played Aquaman, when he Momo, what is it, Momoa,
Jason Momoa.
Momoa, when I first
Oh yeah.
sometimes
By the way, it's Jason Statham. He's the one that played in the Getaway.
yeah, Jason Statham,
Right,
yeah.
but like I said, back to make that point real quick. When we look at them, and hell, even Jackie Chan. So we look at them, and then we go back to okay, they're great actors. They're great action heroes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not saying people don't make fun of their accent, but at the same time, it
What
we, it's not a big critique.
it 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 might be in people's mind, because when you read a comic, if you do if you do the different voices in your head, right?
Mm-hmm.
In your head, you done did this voice for so long, and when somebody comes and actually does that, you be like,
That didn't
that's
match
not right.
that didn't match
That
the
didn't
voice in
match
my
what
head.
was in my head, right?
Yeah, you've been reading the book for 30 decades, so that ain't got
Yeah.
nothing to do. So when the people that made the book pick a hero, let's go with their version of what the hero is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Let's go with who they say it is. Now, it's just it's not my biggest thing is Ben Affleck as Batman. I do not want him to be Batman again. I don't want him to be a superhero. I want him to be. He can be Commissioner Gordon. He can be anybody else. Don't be a superhero. That's just
Well,
me. because
I didn't.
he played Daredevil and then he played Batman,
Yeah,
and I'm like, no, I don't like him. I don't. I just don't like Ben Affleck as a superhero. I don't.
I think his I think his Batman was much better than Daredevil, but
Oh yeah, especially in the Snyder cut.
yeah, I think he was. I think he played. I think he played a good Bruce Wayne, but he might have been lacking on the Batman side of it.
Well, the thing about it is that I don't know. I just don't see his he's right as the Bruce Wayne, but the thing about it is, and the thing about Bruce Wayne is the same thing with Superman. Bruce Wayne is the alter ego. Batman is the character.
Right, right.
So, in order to play Bruce Wayne, you have to be a good Batman. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, if you're just a good Bruce Wayne, that's the alter ego. And the people, probably they're thinking, oh well, no, Bruce Wayne, he was the one that was no. This man, he lives Batman. You know what I'm saying? He lives Batman. He even the Bruce Wayne that he portrays to the public is not the person he is. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Because he tries to be this, rich playboy and all this, and to make a distraction to who he really is.
Right.
So that's why I say that. A lot of people say that. That's when I make that point, because a lot of people don't see it as that. They think the alter ego is just a person. The alter ego is, um, you know, the person behind the mask.
Well,
And the mask.
you say that. I would take Ben Affleck any day over Cooney. What's his name? Clooney.
Yeah, don't. First of all, any of those Batmans from the back in the day, that what's his name did, the one who the director Edward Scissorhands,
Oh yeah, yeah.
who I don't like
Oh,
any of that.
yeah.
I don't like any of those. So, and I know, don't give me. I like Michael Keaton as Batman. I like that one, but
Michael Keaton
no,
showed that he could stretch as an
right,
actor on that because I didn't see him as
right,
when they announced him as Batman, I couldn't see him as
right,
Batman. So he pulled off the ultimate acting
right.
to me.
So when Michael Keaton is Batman, I like, but I'm just talking about those movies as a whole. Those movies as a whole. Yes, when they were out when I was a kid, I loved those movies. But when I got older and I looked at them again, I did not like them.
Oh yeah, they were
They were
trash.
trash, and I guess because and maybe I got spoiled by the technology. Maybe I got to the point where I was like, okay, well, I've seen so much greater, CGI and all that stuff now, and so
Hmm.
much greater. Maybe, but when I go back and look at it now, it's just like when I go back and listen to a lot of old hip hop music I, that I love back then. I don't. I'm like that was weak. I'm like this. I mean, I like it, but if you judge it from what I heard today, it's not going to stand up to the same. If that very song came out today, it would not hold up. Is what I'm saying. But
Yeah, but some things are just made for the time, though.
ex-
You
but
know.
that's what I'm saying. But
Yeah.
but if I take it out of time, but you know, I guess I'm really stuck in this new age of comic book movies and sci-fi. I'm really stuck in it because the technology has advanced to complement the imagination of the people that wrote it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If okay, for instance, and me and you've talked about this so many times. The one of I think the most horrible comic book movie that we saw when we were young, and this is like I think it was probably late '80s or maybe early '90s. Maybe I think it's late '80s. Was that Doctor Strange movie? Remember that?
Yeah.
You remember how horrible that movie was?
Yeah. I
And
think that came out. I thought it was I thought it was early '80s.
yeah, probably early
Yeah,
'80s.
early '80s. Yeah.
Uh, let me
It
see.
was it was horrible. It had Morgan Le Fay. Um,
Oh, it was 1978.
Oh, okay. Well, still.
All right. So late 70s. So even make a point even better. So first of all, they didn't have any business doing any comic book movies back in 1978.
They did they did
I
Captain
understand,
America with that big old motorcycle helmet.
and they did Spider Man. They did Spider Man. Well, Spider Man had a whole series, didn't he? He had a TV series.
TV series,
Well,
yeah.
Captain America did for that matter. But
Yeah.
and he drove around in a van, and
Right.
the motorcycle popped out. The motorcycle jumped out the back of the van. The Hulk. Okay, when we was kids, that Hulk series with Lou Ferrigno was the
Yeah.
shit when we were kids. But when
Hmm.
we look at it today, it's a joke.
It's a joke.
It's a
And
joke.
one, because they were so limited on the budget, they couldn't even give him a superpowered villain.
Right? They couldn't do. They did. They Bigfoot. He was bionic, but Bigfoot. It was yeah. I think he fought Bigfoot. Well, he fought Bigfoot, but was bionic, and the bionic man fought Bigfoot as well.
Right. Right.
But yeah, he just went after regular humans with guns. So, but that's what I'm saying. That's my point. It's just like we wanted it so much back then. They couldn't the technology couldn't meet up with the imagination of it. It couldn't complement the imagination of it. It's impossible. So
Right.
now that the technology has caught up to the technology has surpassed the imagination. We now we're now they're making movies to the point that it's not whatever they can do in the book they can do on the screen.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's there's the transition. It's expensive, but the transition is there. You know what I'm saying? The
Hmm.
transition is it's possible now. So you know, so I guess now my standards are higher now. So when I'm looking at stuff, I'm like, oh, I mean, I know y'all can do better. I think who was it? I wasn't satisfied with the Scarlet Witch movie. Me personally, I'm not saying I didn't like it. I'm saying I wasn't satisfied with it because I think they kind of rehashed her frustrations over again. They just refocused her because her when the Scarlet Witch in the series, her frustration was her losing her husband. So she created a whole family. Now, when she lost her kids in the movie, her focus was losing that she lost her kids. So she went from one loss. Well, her original loss was her brother. Then the next loss was Vision. Now the loss in her in the movie was her kids. And I'm like, you keep having to go over the same grief, but just different grieving over different people. You see what I'm saying? And I understand it, but I understand what they're trying to do. They're trying to build her character and give an understanding to why she was doing what she was doing, and also get that Scarlet Witch persona out because that was a big thing in the comic books. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
But it's just like you know, it was just like it's kind of already done this already. You know what I'm saying? She took over a whole fucking city. You know what I'm saying? And
You're right.
rewrote reality because she lost her husband. She made some kids out of nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Then it just seemed to rehashing. But I kind of feel that it wasn't satisfying to me because it's just like, all right, at some point she just got to learn to deal with grief. Now she's grieving over kids that never existed.
But we say that, but when you think about the kids that she actually found, they did exist. They just didn't exist on her plane, on her field of reality, because that lady didn't have powers.
Right.
That mother didn't have power. So those kids weren't created. Those kids were there. And I think what's happened is because she has a presence in every dimension, because she was I don't know. I forgot the term that they use for her.
Uh,
Uh, but she knows she had a feeling. I think she created those kids because she felt those kids in that other timeline,
right, yeah.
and she didn't have them. She didn't have the kids in this one, so she had because all of her personalities line up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, um, um, she had an understanding that I got kids, but I don't have kids with me now. I've created the same two kids that my persona
Mm-hmm.
has on this other alternate reality or alternate plane. Um, and I think you know, she just it 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 might have been how it might not even been why not me. It might be she was jealous of the, you know, the her other persona. Why is she happy and I can't maintain happiness?
Well, okay. Well, I think the focus of, is that the psycho the focus is on the understanding on that of the character. I'm talking about the story itself. Okay.
I I tell you, I enjoyed the story.
Well,
I thought it was good.
to me it just seemed like a rehashing of the same thing. She like I said, she grieved up. She lost her brother. Understand? She
Mhm.
lost vision. Understand? Through her grieving of all that, she created kids. Now she's grieving. Now then she lost those kids, and she's grieving of kids that never existed, which kind of goes into a psychosis in a little bit. Now let's let her have that. Why couldn't the storyline be of her trying to get those actual kids in a different dimension that were actually that probably have lost their mother, that are going through something that and they're in danger, and she was trying to save
One, I think that maybe because she was a unique character, her children might be unique as far as because she didn't hear anybody but that specific, you know, if she is the one entity that can be on all dimensions and all
them.
planes,
Mm-hmm.
but these two kids were the only ones she heard. She didn't hear.
Well, that's because of the storyline. That's because of the story. I can write the story to be anything.
Oh, I understand you can
That's what I'm
write the
saying.
story to be
But again,
anything, but
but that's what I'm saying. Why does it have to be her grieving again and her going after kids that are not that that are belong to somebody else? Why can't she be grieving and go after kids that are actually in trouble that lost their mother? You see what I'm saying?
yeah,
That would be to me to be more sad. Now I'm not saying she's dead, because at the end she's she's supposed to about what's that book name, the Grim Hold or whatever, that
dark
book,
hole.
yeah, the Dark Hold, whatever. That's supposed to have been destroyed, and she collapsed the tower on herself and all that. Now we know in the comic books death is just it's not even a speed bump. It's just another plot. It's just another plot twist to get over. That's all death
Right.
is. So, but what I'm saying is, it's just like with her, they was kind of stuck inside of a cycle that they didn't want to get out, and they kind of did it with, and they did it. They actually did this essentially the same thing in Wonder Woman. You said you didn't see the second one, right?
I didn't see the second one.
I don't want to give away too much of it, but pretty much, um, what they did is, what's her name's character? The character that she,
Cheetah.
no, the character that she fell in love with, the dude.
Oh. Uh.
He played Captain Kirk. Chris Pine. Chris Pine.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so Chris Pine's character is comes back to life, and he's in the body of somebody else's. So with her, she's kind of going through that again, of falling in love with him and going through all that, and then losing him all over again.
Hmm.
You see what I'm saying? I'm like, why? I'm like, why are we doing that again? You know what I'm saying? Why are we exploring? Okay, so he's back, cool, but now she's losing. She lost him again. So what was the purpose of even doing that again? Especially in the movie right after it. Now, if they was going to do a 3 or 4, then do it in 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? But why are we doing it in this movie right after that? It's just like it. So you know, I don't know. It's just like they just kind of doing a rehashing of certain stories that it didn't make. And I know I get to my point where I've said this before. When you're watching a movie, it's not an Uber. It's more of like a Delta flight. A Uber takes you where you want to go. A Delta flight, you going. It's going to go there whether you're on the plane or not.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This is the destination. Do you want a ticket or not? You know what I'm saying? So if we do get into these things where we say, "Oh, that's stupid. Why they do that? This is dumb. That why they." And I do.
It's all tied in. Yeah.
It's all
Later
tied
on.
in. But at some point, we got to do something a little bit more imaginative, branch it out a little bit. Is what I'm saying. If you can, if you literally can do anything in the universe, then this is one of the things that I love about the multiverse, because literally the storyline can be whatever you want it to be.
Right.
Whatever you want it to be. If you're gonna make her this crushed soul and doing all that, okay, do all that in one movie. Let it get out in that movie. Okay, now move. Let's convert to something else. Because in 3 instances where we see, and I know I'm rehashing the thing. One movie she lost her brother. Nothing. Next movie she loses Vision. Then the series. She loses her kids. Then in the next movie, she loses them. Essentially loses again. Then she kills herself. You know what I'm saying?
The series. What do you mean? What series? Because there was only one. She lost her kids and her husband in the same series.
In the WandaVision, she lost Vision again, and she lost her kids.
WandaVision, yeah. Let's see.
In the movie, Ultron, she lost her brother.
Yeah.
And then Infinity War, she lost Vision.
Yeah. Oh, and she recreated.
And then
Vision.
In the WandaVision, she lost Vision and her kids. Mm-hmm. And then in the movie, she lost her kids.
Well, I think they had to do something.
I think they had to.
They had to do something with Vision because of how they started Vision out. They started Vision out with an Infinity Stone. So in the comics, he didn't have a stone. So they had to kill him because that was he couldn't live without that stone. So you sort of seen that one coming.
Right.
And through her grief creates another Vision.
She creates a whole new reality and kids.
Well, yeah, a whole new reality and kids. But what I'm saying is she created a whole, because it's following the White Vision storyline. There is a White Vision out there who has to gain humanity because he's more android now than anything. Mm. So that part of the story will be, I don't know in what series that they're going to take care of Vision, but he's out there and he has to be. They're going to have to take care of it to tie that loose end up somewhere, and so I think giving him the one of the Infinity Stones was an easy way, easy transition into that, because you got to kill him some type of way.
Right. It brings a tragic thing. And like I said, I understand all that. But like I said, my only thing is you kind of rehashing the same thing over and over. That's my only thing. You're not doing anything original with her.
what you'll find from here on, it has to be original because she's come to grips now. I'm like you. I don't think she's dead. She's come to grips now. I think that one, and this is my idea, and we can rehash all of this stuff once we actually start recording. But if you think about Kang, who is limitless, as far as being, he's a time master. He can be everywhere. You kill one, you just only kill one aspect or one version.
Right.
Who's best to kill Kang than someone who's specific to all the dimensions? And that's Scarlet Witch.
Right.
I think she's going to have a bigger. I think she's going to have a bigger role to play now that they've gotten through the grief. Maybe she's going to turn her grief against Kang, because if it wasn't for you, creating all these time variants and loops and this and that, and you for whatever you did to branch all these timelines off.
Right.
Maybe she'll show because she is powerful. She's
right. She's one of the most powerful beings in the universe. You know
right.
What I'm saying? I mean, you can also look into to prove that if you look at her fight sequence in Endgame, if I think what did Thanos do because she was attacking him, she was crushing him and ripping off his armor and everything, and he said, "Make it rain. You gotta make it rain or make it hail or whatever." If it wasn't, but she probably would have killed him.
Yeah,
she probably would have killed him, and he did that out of total desperation because he couldn't do anything to combat her. The only other character that he met his match with was Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel, because she could absorb his energy.
Right, she could absorb
his energy. And redirect it.
Right, and then but until he took the Power Stone and then then knocked her out or knocked her off of him. But like I said, that's the only other person. So those two right there, though, was the ones that gave him that. If you look at it, he actually had fear in his eyes when he was fighting him. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like
he had more shock when with Captain America, because he could wield the Mjolnir.
Well, not even that. It was the fact that this man that he assumed was weaker than him was giving him a run. You know what I'm saying? It was that, the Mjolnir thing was because he easily combated that real quick. He got he went at him even harder. It was just the only one that he didn't take over physically himself was Scarlet Witch. He physically took Captain Marvel. He physically took Thor. He physically took Hulk. Everybody. Scarlet Witch was the only one that he couldn't. He had to put everybody else in danger in order to get him out of get out of that situation.
Well, yeah, because when you can be in reality, what can't you do?
You can make.
She was only limited to
what's in her head, right?
Right.
And that's the thing. Well, that's the thing about it, and and I keep going back to it. It's just like when you have a whole TV show where she can, she makes this whole city a TV show. And she goes through the decades of TV, and then she creates living beings, and then you lose that. Then you go to this movie where she's grieving over kids, and she's trying to get over here, and I'm like, you just did one of the most amazing things in the world,
right?
Why is this? Why are we doing this?
You know
what I'm saying? That's where I was lost. I'm like, why are we doing this?
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, though, she only had at that point she only had a one-track mind. She wasn't thinking with the omnipotence of a reality person.
And again,
She was thinking from an emotional side
right.
of a female.
And again, that's the character focus. I'm talking about the writing perspective of it. You know what I'm saying? The writing perspective of it, which is which is the the metadata of it is bringing out is just saying, as a writer, why are you doing this again?
Mm.
Why are you doing this with this character again? You know what I'm
Think-
saying? After, because this whole series was literally about her being the most powerful person in the universe. She, like I said, she wiped people's mind. She made them who she wanted them to be. She actually made everything black and white.
Mhm.
Then she goes through these different phases of TV, through the different decades of TV. She creates living beings out of nothing, and now we're in a movie where she's trying to kill this girl so she can go through a different. I'm like, what are we trying to do? What's going on?
I see what you're saying, but I think the fault sort of lies instead of making the show. What was it? 6 episodes.
Yeah, about six. Yeah, I think 6 episodes.
If they could have told that whole story in a 12 episode thing,
Yeah,
you know, and dealt with that. But it probably would have came off better if they would have tied all of that up in the WandaVision show instead of letting it branch out into Doctor Strange.
no. It's 9 episodes.
Well, still, some of it though was just
It was fillers.
it was fillers. Yeah, it was fillers.
The first 2 or 3 episodes would. Hold on, I'm gonna literally tell you because I remember watching this. The first 2 or 3 episodes, I was literally like, "What the hell's going on? What?"
Yeah, everybody was.
And
Yeah.
I was sitting there like, "What are they doing?" Then I think it came into the 4th episode. I believe is when what's her name
Agatha.
Rambo what's her
Oh
name?
yeah.
The little girl who grew up now.
Yeah.
When her mom she got snapped, and then her mom died. She got snapped and she came back in the hospital and everything. I think I think it was either 3rd or 4th episode when that happened.
Monica Rambeau.
Monica Rambeau. When that happened, I'm sitting there like, oh, okay, now we fit to get something. Now we fit to go somewhere, because I was confused the first 2 episodes, the first 3 episodes.
I think I'm gonna go back and rewatch those episodes.
I am too. But like I said, and this is my point. My point, and I'm gonna sum it up real quick. Everything that she went through in that series and in that movie could have been done in that series.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
It could have been, everything could have been done in that series. Then when the movie came out, we could have went on to something else.
Yeah. Well, even the you said that moved in 9 episodes, and I'm thinking if they would have had 12 episodes, they could have did all of that, because the first 2 episodes could have been 1 episode. Almost.
Yeah, because I'm gonna go over the minutes. Okay. The first episode is 31 minutes. The second episode is 39 minutes. The third one's 35. The fourth one is 37. The fifth one is 43. 6, 40. 7, 39. The eighth one is 48 minutes. And the ninth episode is 51 minutes. The first 4 episodes could have been everything they could have did in this series.
Yeah.
The next 3 or 4 episodes could have been this movie. You see what I'm saying? And I'm not saying, I'm just saying, go, you lose your kids, now figure something else out and do this. Then by the end of it, you come to some resolution like, okay, it's not meant for me, or whatever. Or like I said, go explore. And this is me. I know I'm not the writer. I know I'm that. But at least if either come to the resolution and say, okay, I made those kids up. They're not real. Either I make them up again, or I look for, or I go find kids that are actually in trouble that lost their mother, and I become their mother. That to me would have been a more like, okay, that's a more interesting plot. And then she's trying to do this, and people are trying to stop her. Then people are trying to understand that, okay, she's actually trying to do something honorable here, and this event that's happening to these kids is something that um what's her name, America
America Chavez.
America Chavez is tied to. You know what I'm saying? And she somehow, whatever creative. I mean, we can think of a billion things that would make it make sense.
I can see putting America Chavez in the TV show because she's not a big actor, but then you would have to pay Kamabach because something specific happened with Doctor Strange, and that was him dabbling in the dark hole,
right?
Because that's him dabbling in the dark hole is what's setting up his next movie,
right?
And the reason why I don't think they're done with Scarlet Witch, because her kids, if they keep moving, if you look at the track that they're moving on, they're moving down a track to where the Young Avengers, nearly all the characters in the Young Avengers have been in these movies. You had the
Hawkeye girl. She was in the series.
Hawkeye girls was in the series.
That whole series was around her. So
yeah. So you got Hawkeye, you got Speed and Wiccan, the two brothers.
Right.
You have Isaiah, the black kid, the first Captain America, his grandson,
right,
who technically does not have powers, but he was shooting up a serum to make him,
right.
But he had been revealed, and
he can come back as a mutant.
Yeah, he can, or he's because that serum is in him. Now we don't. Captain America's never had a child, so we don't know if that serum could be passed down to. They don't have to do anything. They don't have to go by the comic book. He could develop whatever he gonna develop through that serum through his grandfather. Because that hadn't been tapped.
Right. Exactly.
And with the presence of Kang, you have Iron Lad, the kid that was the kid that was in the Iron Man suit, which was a suit from the future,
which is a version of Kang.
Yeah, he was a version of Kang.
Right.
So it seems like they're building, because why do you need these kids if you're not going to use them?
Right. And that's
it's especially the grandson from Isaiah.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's so much that you can really tap into, and I guess that's another point of mine. There's so much that you can tap into. Why and I don't know what you're saying. I'm getting old, but why rehash something? And there's so much you can tap into, and because they was talking about the number of between TV shows and movies and everything. I think they said there was more TV shows and movies and stuff in this last phase than there was in I think all three phases combined or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was so much stuff, and it's just like we got all this filler in there. I think going over the same thing over and over is kind of, it's kind of, it's, I don't know, it's kind of useless to me when the possibilities are endless. You know what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? When the possibility, and I think that's the thing that's most frustrating to me. When the possibilities are endless, let's be more creative.
I think the creativeness is coming because I think that they're going to find something in this next Ant-Man movie is going to kick something off.
Oh yeah, it's definitely going to kick. It's definitely going to kick something off because I know I'm sorry, I'm not trying to dominate the conversation, but it's definitely going to kick something off because I mean, did you see the lineup of the movies?
I've seen them at one time. Yeah.
All right, from Comic-Con. Okay. So in so February 17th, you got Ant-Man Quantumania. All right.
Mhm.
Then you got Secret Invasion coming in spring. And then you got the Guardians of the Galaxy in May. And then you have Echo. I'm be honest with you, I don't know what the hell that Echo is about. Do you know and understand what Echo is about?
Yeah, Echo is the 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 girl that was in Falcon and Winter Soldier. The one that had the missing leg.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, I know
That's
her.
that's
Yeah,
that's Echo.
yeah. Okay, yeah, I got her. Okay, got it. And then the one I'm really waiting on is the Loki season 2.
Yeah, that's going to reveal a lot.
That Loki series was the shit.
Oh yeah.
That first one, I watched it again a couple weeks ago. I love it. I love
Yeah, I
it.
gotta rewatch that.
I don't know what it is about the multiverse stuff. I love it's like I love Spider-Verse. I love because it's so in possibilities.
Mhm.
Your imagination just goes. You know what I'm saying? Okay,
I,
then go ahead.
I think they need to go ahead and bring Miles on. I
You,
I I think because uh Spider Gwen has a limited power because she she's not from the 616. She's from uh she can jump through the one dimension from
right.
whatever she is to 616 through the Spider Verse.
Uh,
And I think that she might be able to bring Miles to the 616.
do you know who they're talking about for Miles Morales?
The young kid in Stranger Things
No.
at one time.
Well, have you seen the Cobra Kai series?
Yeah, I heard of him too. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It was actually in one of the if you look Google his name and then Cobra and then no, I'm sorry, his name is Dallas Dupree Young,
Mm-hmm.
the black kid. He had on the Spider-Man T-shirt or Spider T-shirt. It had like the Spider-Man emblem right here
Uh-huh.
on his left side, and I was like, I'm like, dude, come on, stop, stop playing,
Uh,
like, stop playing with me
he
like that. But
he looks
anyway,
perfect though. He looks
he
perfect.
looks the part. He's the right build and everything. He's the right
Mm-hmm.
build and everything. But what I was going, let me go back to what I was the phases. All right, but Miss Marvel, then Blade. Miss Marvel's not Miss Marvel or the Marvels because
The
it's supposed to be
Marvels, the movie,
yeah because it's supposed to be Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel, and somebody
and
else.
Photon.
Photon.
Uh, yeah,
Yeah, what's her name? Monica Rambeau.
right.
Monica Rambeau's gonna be in that. So, and that's gonna be July of next year. So that's 6 movies. Well, no, one, two, three, four, five, 5 movies in one series. Up until July. All right, then Blade is going to be November. Uh, Ironheart is going to be fall of next year. Then Agatha Coven of Chaos is gonna be winter, so it'll be either 2023 or 2024, late 23 or late 24.
Mm-hmm.
Then in spring, Daredevil, and then Captain America in May of 2024. So that's a big lineup, dude.
That's a big lineup. And you got to wonder where some of these characters are going to fall, because you still got Namor out there. So he's going to have to be in one of these, something that's coming up.
And you saw that movie, right?
I saw it with you.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Duh. Anyway. Well, just say yes.
Okay.
You ain't got to make me look stupid in the process. Just say yes.
Well, I just want you to match your beers.
So because of the movie, I think that was a good setup for him.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's my point. I think that was a good setup for Namor.
You know, it's a lot of people said that movie was trash.
I can see why.
I can't. I thought that movie was.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not saying I didn't like the movie. I love the movie. Again, to me, it just seemed like the possibilities. And here's the thing. And this is why I say this, because people's expectations are high, real high. Endgame was by far the best Marvel movie. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It was, and that set a very high bar, and it's because of emotions. It's because of the number of people that were in it. It's because of the action. It's because of the plot. It was pretty well thought out. I'm not saying there's no plot holes in it. There's a bunch of plot holes in it. I'm just saying it was pretty well thought out, and the build up to it was awesome. Now, because that bar is so high, lately it's just been doing this.
I can't quite say that, because,
and I understand it's going to be kind of a roller coaster, because now you got to build up.
You had to build up to Endgame for it to be as so now, and they what you're doing is almost starting the Marvel universe, not starting them over, but
you reshuffling the deck.
Yeah, Thanos was always the main villain,
right?
From the first movies all the way up to here. Now Thanos is
behind the scenes,
but still, you knew that
not from the first, because you didn't really know that he was coming there until I think it was the end credit scene and something.
Yeah, you know, but what I'm saying is now they're using these TV shows and these next couple movies to build Kang up. And those last couple movies to get to Kang, to finally defeat Kang, I believe is going to be as good as or better than Endgame. Because you got to build them up. One, you got to tell us, you got to tell some story of creating new characters, mm-hmm. which is what they're doing now. The Miss Marvels, the Ironheart, the Monica Rambeau. So you're putting these next group of people in a position where they're going to be the ones to take over, because what we've created through Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, these actors are getting older, and to keep from rehashing and putting new actors, we're going to move on with the second strand, mm-hmm. and build them up. And you got to build them up some type of way. You got to give them a origin story. You got to do so. I think that they're just laying groundwork to, once they get into the deep battle with Kang, we're going to be just as happy or happier. When we, because the first set of movies, they didn't have the TV shows.
Right.
It was movies, and then you had this long wait for another movie, and then a long wait for another movie.
Right.
Now what they're doing is they're using their TV shows to develop some characters, and then develop a couple more characters, and then create a little plot twist, and then we're gonna, introduce this person over here. I think we're gonna get to that now, and like you said, you can't stay high or is not a roller coaster. You just riding straight.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying.
But now you're doing this.
But that's the thing. It's the expectation is what I'm getting back at. Like when you have such a great movie like Endgame, and then I think what was the it was just here Marvel. Because Endgame was the next thing. Then was there Spider-Man after that? I think there was the Spider-Man movie that came in after that. I'm looking on Disney Plus. The Spider-Man movie is not.
It was the Spider-Man movie because he got the new suit in the Endgame thing, and they went on with it in the Spider-Man movie
because it was Far From Home.
Yeah, Far From Home, and then No Way Home was the second.
Right.
Yeah.
So the Far From Home. This is what I'm saying, and I'm looking again from the end game came. Then it brought everybody up, the extenders up. Then the next movies came out. Then the tempo just kept getting slower and slower. So people's expectation is still high.
Still high. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So
that's how they calling all this other stuff trash.
So they're not looking at each movie for what it is. They're looking like, okay, we come out, y'all gave me Endgame, and that was great, but now you give me, 3 bad episodes of WandaVision.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And
then, Miss Marvel.
And then I'm gonna be honest with you, that Black Widow movie was not the best. They could have done. They could have done. They didn't really delve into her being converted. They didn't. They didn't go. They could have done so much with that.
I think her movie was just to bring her sister there.
Right, and it's to bring her sister, and it's to wrap her up. And I understand it because she never had her own movie before that anyway.
Yeah.
And it's to give her to give that character, pay her homage, and then wrap that up. But again, death is just not even an issue in this. People can come back, whenever they want. So,
right.
But there's been like the WandaVision had its good. The last Spider-Man was No Way Home was excellent. Loki series is great. I think the What If series was great. Shang-Chi was alright. Eternals is not bad.
I love Shanks.
It was alright. It was not. I wasn't. I'm sorry. I'm still not in love with it. We can talk about that another time. The Eternals, no.
I like the Eternals.
The Hawkeye series is pretty good.
Yeah.
Moon Knight was disappointing.
I love the Moon. Out of behind Loki,
it was anticlimactic.
I thought behind Loki, Moon Knight was the next best series because behind Loki, I think Moon Knight was.
The What If didn't do nothing for you.
I liked What If, but I like Moon Knight better.
You like Moon Knight better than Hawkeye?
Yep.
All right.
Because it was Moon Knight is a character that's multifaceted. To have 3 personalities and I thought it was done amazingly. I just and the guy who played Moon Knight to play those different characters.
Yeah, you gotta be a great actor.
He fit a lot of people what it was it wasn't as action packed as they wanted it to be. Right. But I think it told a really good story as far as diving into who the Moon Knight is. And what it does is Moon Knight is not a character that's an everyday Marvel character, because he had, when you say Moon Knight, a lot of people don't even realize that he had 3 personalities. So you have to set it up some type of way. And for to do what they did, they also took Khonshu and made him prevalent, because look at what's happening. The Black Panther is up under the Panther God, and Moon Knight is up under Khonshu. And let's see who else. They're setting these characters up to be up under. They're setting up gods and having the gods having a champion. Is what they done. I thought the movie. I keep saying movie. I thought the TV show.
It needed 2 or 3 more episodes to really develop out.
I think
from my taste,
they didn't develop out the third personality. They just threw him. They just realized, okay, I didn't do this and I didn't do this, so people sort of knew that there was a third personality out there.
Right, but it needed about 2 or 3 more episodes.
I thought it was done well. I was hoping,
because it was only 6 episodes.
Yeah, it was 6 episodes, but then they said that they were thinking about doing a second season, and that somebody said that if they won an award, that they weren't going to do another season, which that didn't make sense to me. And they ended up winning a Grammy or Emmy or something like that. They ended up winning. So
it'll be an Emmy, a Grammy for music.
So yeah. So now what that means is, if Moon Knight is not going to have a second season, then you're going to have to wrap him up in these upcoming shows or movies, because why bring him out?
I still don't understand how you're going to do that, though, because this is my thing. I really still don't understand him as a character. I understand he has 3 personalities. I understand the personalities all, represent a different version of the Moon Knight. I get
he's sort of like Shazam.
No, he's not like Shazam.
Similar. This guy like bestowed. Well, no, not quite like Shazam, but this God granted, this man a power,
right?
And to really, I think the God sort of broke his mind, because the God needed certain things from the certain personalities.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Each version has a different Moon Knight character. This is like.
And you didn't see the last character's Moon Knight.
No, you don't see the last character's Moon Knight. And also, I don't understand how you're going to have that character. They need to tie it up to where that character is balanced enough where it can be a superhero amongst other superheroes and be stable.
But Namor is not stable.
He's one personality, though. You got 2 personalities that don't even know nothing about the third personality, and then
they know now, though. They know now.
You got these 2 other personalities that they just kind of agree. I'm like, all right.
And
that's
and
how
then
you do it. I mean, I don't know.
In that show, they brought the Silver Scarab, the lady who is up under that Hippo God.
Right, the Hippo God. Right, I got you. I understand all that. The thing that I'm talking about.
I think it's going
Moon Knight. how you going to balance that character where you got three entities fighting amongst other entities, and they don't know what they're doing.
I think they're gonna. All I'm saying is, he's coming, because why even bring him out if you wasn't gonna use him?
Right, and I get that, but why even bring it out if then just leave it like just there? I don't understand it.
Yeah,
because okay, this is my thing. At the beginning of the series, he didn't know anything about the other entity, the one other entity that he knew of. He didn't know anything about that we knew of.
no, that was the second entity not knowing about the first. The first knew about the second.
One of them didn't know about the other. Cool.
Yeah.
Now you in the exact same at the end of the series where now two don't know about the other one. Two don't know about the third. And then
no, at the end of the series, they all know about each other. It was revealed that there's another entity.
It was revealed, but they just said, I didn't do that, and you didn't do that.
Mm-hmm. So they know that there is another.
Know, but they don't know it.
maybe the guy put a blocker on them knowing, because he's the murderer. He's the one he's the crazy one. He's the one that's going to kill.
Right.
He
got the. And then
so he had to block them, because they lose everything if they know that they're walking around here killing people.
It just seems like unbalanced, my friend. It just seems like I don't get it. I don't get it. It just seems.
It makes sense to me. I guess because I've read some of the comics, so
not saying it doesn't make sense. I'm saying that it don't get it, and I understand. I don't get it means it doesn't make sense to me. It's just like you got these three personalities that sometimes they fight, but at some point they're supposed to be part of this bigger team of heroes, and it's supposed to work. And I don't see it right now. Is all I'm saying. I just don't see that right now. And then on top of that, you got one of the guys who's, let's just say he's the wimpy one. He dressed up he has a tuxedo version of Moon Knight. He doesn't even know.
That was in the comic.
He doesn't even know his powers. And I'm sitting there like, dude, take 5 minutes to learn your fucking powers.
Well, he didn't want the power. He he didn't really want to be a fighter. He's not a fighter, but he's gonna have. I think he finally realized that if we're gonna make this thing work, and if we're gonna stop evil, and I have some wits about me, I can solve some things that these other two can't solve. Right. I'm gonna have to fight. So I think it's like hey, look, it's like having three heroes in one.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. But they don't know when they want to be which hero, and then then the couple of heroes don't even know about the other hero.
Yeah,
and I'm saying, like, dude, this is too much. It's too much.
I absolutely loved it, dude. I loved it.
And I'm not saying it was awful. I'm just saying I just don't see it. But okay. But then you got the going back. Then you got the Multiverse of Madness, which I love that. I like that movie because anything that's dealing with multiverse, I'm a fan of. Then we got Miss Marvel. I'm on the fence with it, and the only reason I'm on the fence with it is because her powers are not the same. But what I'm trying to do is say, hey, Carlos, the MCU is a different universe from the comic books. So the powers are not going to be the same. And then as soon as I start to buy into that, I'd be like, man, that's bullshit. And then I go through that cycle again. But again, but the way that I'm going to be honest with you, the way that they pulled it off, I'm like, all right, cool.
I think it made sense to change your powers because you just have another Reed Richards who's not as smart as Reed Richards. Reed Richards just stretches, and that's what her powers were in the comics. She embigs her hands and this and that. You have the same character.
She embigs her hands and becomes stronger. Reed Richards just becomes stretchier. He doesn't
Yeah.
become stronger. It's a different flip to it. It's like saying the Hulk and Thor are the same thing. Just because they're both strong.
No. And then
Okay,
when you look at
America,
when you look at Shang-Chi, those 10 rings weren't those bands
in the comic books.
Yeah, those 10 rings were the Mandarin had those 10 rings on his hands. Each one of them shot out a power.
Right.
So in Shang-Chi, they had to do something different with Shang-Chi. If not, you got Iron Fist.
No.
I know Iron Fist can make his put his thing in it, but you still just got a karate guy.
Okay. This is my point. Let's use Shang-Chi. Okay, cool. Those rings are different, but they made that better.
They made it better.
They didn't make Miss Marvel's powers better. They just made it different.
They did. I think they made it because
it's the same thing.
I enjoy her power.
It's the same thing. Instead of her using her actual hands to enlarge, she has an aura that enlarges. It's the same thing.
But
And I know me saying it's the same thing. You say, well, Carlos, if it's the same thing, then why are you mad? I'm not mad. I'm just saying, if you're gonna do that, then just do the thing. You didn't make it better. You did the same thing a different way.
Why make Scarlet Witch a controller of realities when you got a reality stone?
Because
it's the same thing.
She's a product of the reality stone.
It's the same thing.
She's the product of the reality stone. That's why. She is the living embodiment of the reality stone. You can't say that's not true. You can't say that's not true.
Well, we found out in Loki that it's many stones. So
well, because it's in different universes and they only work in their own. And in What If, it tells you it only works in your. Well, it even says in Loki those stones only work in the universe that they came in. So, but Thor: Love and Thunder. How did you feel about that movie?
I love what they did with Jane Foster. I think Jane Foster was the best part of that movie. One, bringing the hammer back together, Mjolnir.
I like the way those power and Mjolnir splits up because I love that.
And to give her to. It's one thing to have 3 Thors, and I include Beta Ray Bill in the 3 Thors. Mm-hmm. But it's another thing to make their powers stand, away from one another.
4 Thors.
Well, with the girl, with a daughter.
No, Throg.
Oh yeah, Throg. That's right.
They even showed Throg in Loki, and he was stuck in a jar and under dirt. I'm like,
oh yeah.
I'm like, why you got Throg in a jar?
Yeah, because he in the comic he found a shard that came off of Mjolnir and became Throg. Right. But yeah, so to have all of these Thors, if they were all the same, what good would they be? I think they created something in Jane Foster that if Thor hadn't seen her use that hammer that way, and now I don't know because we hadn't seen him since then to know if he can wield Mjolnir like that. I'm assuming that once you see it done, you could do that. Because but he didn't.
It's just a new way of how it is because you can't super glue it together and you can't weld it together. So that's just how it is now.
He just left the pieces laying there when Hela crushed it. It was still
that's what he thought that's where his powers come from.
Yeah.
And then
he said, "You're not the god of hammers."
Yeah, you're not the god of hammers.
But
he said, "Oh yeah, I ride thunder." Yeah.
in that aspect, I like the movie. I thought the humor at some times, although funny, was maybe a little bit over the top. And now I do think that Thor has a childish mindset, and not quite a childish mindset, a ignorance about him, because Odin sent him to Earth originally to teach him humility,
Right.
and he wouldn't some of the things I could see, some of the things that he would do because he thought that was right to do or right to say,
And
would
plus,
be funny.
it's part of his upbringing, his customs.
Right. I do think that, so I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. What I did not like about the movie was they didn't give the God Slayer, they only showed him kill one god, and that was at the beginning,
Right,
so
when he first got the powers, right?
why not show him killing a bunch of gods and really showing why you're afraid of him? They didn't do that. He killed one little minor god, and now he's the God Slayer. They didn't do a lot of character building with him, I don't think. Now, right. I definitely
they could have gone a lot deeper with him, a lot deeper.
Yeah, I definitely didn't like Zeus, because Zeus came off to me as afraid, and right. That wouldn't have been. That's not the Zeus in the comic.
Yeah, because they was hiding.
They were hiding. He can't get here, and then we got all of us.
Especially with Hercules there. If Hercules is there,
well, I don't think Hercules was there. That's the reason why he came. He was somewhere else and had to come at the end, because if Hercules was there and they done beat his dad, Hercules would be in the fight.
But right. But either way, he had access to Hercules. If you have right. access to Hercules, then and you're Zeus, what is your issue?
Right.
So yeah,
Zeus. They said Zeus is the most powerful. I mean, they have him rated above Odin. So for him, Odin wouldn't have been one that would be afraid.
He wouldn't have cowered. He wouldn't have cowered either. No.
So I couldn't see who they. I just can't see how you created a Zeus like this.
Right.
So that to me, that was the worst part of the movie.
Yeah, but when they bring that Hercules into that next door movie,
it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. That's gonna be good.
That is gonna be spectacular. All right. So did you see the She-Hulk series?
Yes. Loved it.
Okay.
Loved it.
A lot of people was taken back by the third wall.
That's what she did in the comic.
But yeah,
she broke the fourth wall.
Well, fourth wall. But yeah, that's the same thing she did. She was true to her character, and all that. So it wasn't.
Because you can't keep her in her first series. Her first series was Savage She-Hulk. She was like the Hulk, but she was. Right. The second volume, she came out. It was the Sensational She-Hulk, and that's when she broke the fourth wall. Right. Now in the third and fourth volume, she's gone more into where she is now as far as being a lawyer.
Right.
Still breaking the fourth wall, but she's doing a lawyer thing.
But the thing about it is, I really like this introductory of Daredevil into that and everything, because you're taking them from the Netflix to bringing them over here. I know they already did it with the No Way Home, and they had him in there already, but but them really bringing him into that, that was really good. I actually liked him being in that.
I liked him being in it, but it seemed like they diminished him a little bit. They made him comic relief.
They did, but I'm gonna tell you, I have a real issue with the Daredevil, the Netflix series of it. He gets his ass kicked way too much, and he gets beat on way too much. When I look at the series, and I make this comparison to a guy I work with, in a lot of ways, not talking about strength, talking about agility, and talking about general senses and everything. He is kind of like Spider Man. He's super agile, and he can and Spider Man has the spider senses, and he has the echo sense where he can see everything, which is essentially it's kind of the same thing, but it's different. It's kind of the same thing. So when you have that high agility and able to come back, you shouldn't be getting your ass kicked that much. I'm sorry.
No, he got beat up plenty in the
comic.
comics.
Come on, in the comic, and he did, but I'm not saying he did. But I've read the comic books, he went in with people with guns. He came out and kicked all the ass and came out unscathed. Now you're gonna take you can't tell me that he's just gonna go into a warehouse full of just basic bad guys and not be able to just dominate everybody and walk all over that. You know what I'm saying? Now I understand we got superpower people like Taskmaster and all these other people. That's different.
Kingpin, yeah,
that's different. I'm talking about basic, grunts and hitmen and flunkies and stuff like that.
Yeah, that shouldn't happen.
That should not happen. He should go in there and just dominate. And I understand they have to bring it to a base to bring it down to a reality. Say, okay, well, he's still a man. So, he got to be able to, he's going to take some punch. The fact that he could take all these punches and still kick it. I'm like, I've seen this in the comic books. He'll leap down off a damn ceiling fan or rafter and kick this dude in the head and flip off his head and kick this other dude across the. It's just like, okay, if you can do that with Spider-Man, you can do that with him.
Right.
That's how I'm looking at it. That's what I'm looking at. If you can do that with Spider-Man, you can do that with him. Because that's who he is. That's how agile he is. And like I said, he can hear somebody pulling the trigger across the room. And he can dodge it. That's the same thing Spider-Man.
They probably did that too to show a little bit of strength in him, because and the reason why I say that is he's still a lawyer in the daytime. So if I think what they're wanting to show is, yeah, I got beat up and I got a broken rib, but here I am, I'm still at work and they can't learn my secret identity.
It's a better story. It's a better story. And I get it, but
yeah.
But you can. There's ways in doing that without bringing his.
I agree.
There's ways in doing that without bringing his talent down. You can bring the skill level of the enemy up.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And
he only gets beat up by somebody that's super powered.
And I'm not saying he not nobody's ever going to land a punch, but damn, you land a punch. And it's just like, I'm like, dude, you just getting your ass beat. I mean, you did, you went there. You went there, you did beat 8 dudes' ass, but you got your ass beat.
He might be leaning more on his boxing skills. And the reason why I say that is, even Muhammad Ali used a rope-a-dope. Here, hit my arms and wear yourself out.
Well, you said right.
They put him to where, okay, they've showed you that he could take a bunch of pain. I'm gonna let them wear themselves out, but in the process, he gets beat up.
I'm just gonna say this, and this is my main point. You don't need to let Ben Affleck Daredevil be more agile than this. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
You just don't.
I did like the show.
I like the show, but I like the show and everything. But She-Hulk. Did you see The Werewolf by Night?
Yes.
Okay, Man Thing. That's the introduction to Man Thing, which is excellent.
For a 30-40 minute show, Christmas special, I think it was on point, because not only did they do Man Thing, they also brought in Elsa Bloodstone, who in in the comic was you know, a monster hunter, and she's joined in different groups. She's in different groups around there. Matter of fact, she was in one group with Monica Rambeau called Next Wave Agents of Hate, and she is very powerful because she inherits that stone that her dad had, that
Right.
bloodstone, and it gives her powers. In the comic, she started out blonde, and then over time, she's a redhead now.
Okay.
So there again, there's who else was in the Werewolf by Night, which you would assume would make a appearance in Blade.
Mm-hmm.
Blade and Moon Knight, because right. Moon Knight's first appearance was in Werewolf by Night number 32.
Okay.
And so you would assume that you've brought a character in that makes sense with Moon Knight.
Okay.
And with Blade, so you got a supernatural aspect of the Marvel universe.
It makes sense with Scarlet Witch. It makes sense with Doctor Strange, Moon Knight, like you said, Blade. It makes all the arcane dark arts stuff.
Right.
It makes sense. It makes sense in all those perspectives.
Yeah. So I thought the Christmas special was really good.
And then, did you see the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special?
I did. Now, the only thing in that movie or TV show that was of any importance was them realizing they were brother and sister.
Right. Yeah, all the Kevin Bacon stuff was.
It was stupid.
Yeah, it was. I mean, no, it wasn't, because it really showed the naivety of Mantis and what's his name, and
they are funny.
They
stupid.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And then and they actually believe all of what's your name stories and everything. So thought Chris Bacon was this superhero, another superhero like them, and all that. And he's you an actor. That was just stupid. He's nothing more than an actor. But what's his name? The one who inherited what's his name's antenna?
Yeah,
I like the way his character is developing. I like the way his character is developing.
The new Yondu.
Yeah, Yondu. So I like the way his character is developing. But that whole pack is they are. I hope. Well, the Guardians of the Galaxy come out. I think that I hope they really find Gamora.
I think they finna revamp the team.
But yeah, they're gonna have to do something, because so I think that somebody's supposed to die. That they're saying, and so.
Well, they're gonna be fighting a High Evolutionary, and the High Evolutionary created Rocket Raccoon, right, and Adam Warlock. Now, right. Adam Warlock is going. I believe it will come out.
He's supposed to be in this. He's supposed to be in the next one.
He's supposed to be in this one, and he's going to be sort of naive. Which, when he first came out, he was like a child. He came out this cocoon and he didn't know anything. So he had to learn. So one of the first fights he got into was with Thor, because he went to Asgard and fell for Sif. Right. And he's trying to take Sif, and this is a Sif of the comic, not the Sif of the movie. She wasn't the badass. She was a good fighter and this and that. She wasn't a damsel in distress. Right. But they made her to be that way for those issues. Right. But I think he's going to be a member eventually of the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Who's this again?
Warlock.
Warlock, yeah.
Yeah,
Do you
he
like?
was
Do
a
you
member at
do
one
you like
time.
the Do you like the choice of the dude they're gonna pick to be Warlock?
Yeah,
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 because I
yeah.
think I think that's a good choice.
They're going with some familiarity, as far as appearance. But I think that is a good choice.
Yeah. Um. The only thing, going back to the Eternals, the only thing I didn't like about the Eternals, if they've been here for 2,000 years, man, why we just not seeing it?
Well, I think the Eternals were created by the Celestials, and the Celestials, um the only reason that they were created was to fight the deviants. The deviants was created first, but they went astray, and then the Celestials were made to take care of them, and that was their only it's like Eternals are sort of like computer program. This is what this big God has programmed me to do, and this is what I do. And
Well,
uh
up until a point, because
well, when they get self-worth and self-understanding, then they start, you see in this movie, even though it took this long, you know, I don't even think that you could. I think during time they slowly transitioned because they started caring for the people. The people started worshiping them as a god, and when you're not getting the signal back from, because it was almost like they were stranded here. The
right,
Celestials are not here. What the Celestials did was planted a seed in the earth,
mm-hmm.
and I guess left the Eternals, because the deviants are gonna try to kill this seed. So their thing is, we're going to protect. And when they found out that they fell in love with the people, and if they allow this seed to develop, this whole world is going to be destroyed. Nobody knows about the seed but them. So they probably felt like, I got a bigger mission because this seed is going to be hatching eventually.
But see, here's my thing.
And check this out. The seed, he could have that celestial could have come on out and did what but he understood too that if I come out of this, humanity is dead. All the celestials don't think alike. So I think he allowed himself to die because, you know this God has a a moral compass. That's the reason why Galactus is important, is because, and that's the reason why he goes to he devours worlds that have those seeds in them. That's why
Right, right,
he keeps coming back to the earth,
right.
because he knows that thing is gonna, the celestial thing hadn't happened in the comics. It's happened here in the movies.
No.
But Galactus knows when that thing happens, it's gonna be an imbalance.
Mm-hmm.
I can take care of the balance by destroying these other worlds. But when you get too many Celestials, they take over.
But my thing is, okay, all right. Thanos is one of them as well, according to Star Fox and the
Yeah, relative. Yeah.
relatives. Okay, so you got one of your relatives that's been to this planet twice,
Mm-hmm.
twice, and you don't nothing. Now let's say, okay, you didn't know anything about it. Okay, now they fell in love with humanity. Great.
Mm-hmm.
Thanos was a direct threat to humanity.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing.
But you could still say the same thing with Star Fox, though, his brother, because Thanos killed the parents. He killed everybody on that world.
Right.
Star Fox wasn't on that world, so Star Fox didn't come either. Why wouldn't Star Fox chase him across the universe to fight him? He just
I
now
don't know.
showed up in the after.
That's true. He might not have known. He might not have known where he was. I'm saying the Eternals were here.
Yeah, the Eternals were here.
I'm just saying he right at your doorstep, brother. Nobody ain't gonna do nothing.
They might have thought Earth's mightiest heroes could take care of him. My plan, there again, it's
that
I
whole,
love these movies
whole,
because it gets you thinking and it creates conversation.
I know, but it's stuff like that makes me like, it's just like, man, where y'all been, man? You know what I'm saying? Like if this movie came out like in between Infinity Wars and Endgame, I'm like, all right, cool. I'm gonna see them in Endgame. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna see one or two of them. I'm gonna see somebody.
They remind me of Namor because Namor didn't deal with the people on the surface. He dealt with only the people, once they all decided that they can't breathe and this and that, his group of people was all he thought about.
Right.
Because that same threat came to the earth.
Right, and I can say so when you had half of all living things, I'm pretty sure half of his people went left too.
You would imagine. Yeah.
So there again.
He might have been snapped up though.
That's true. That's true. But they didn't even go into that.
No, I mean
they need to go. I'm sorry. Okay. They need to go into more of that. Who was snapped, who was, and they should bring it up because this should be a conversation.
Hey, because that snap could have made Namor crazy. Crazy.
But let's think about it. Not even with you with superpowers. You got snapped away for 5 years. You're not going to be talking about that.
Mm-hmm.
You probably talk about that every day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People probably won't tell you, man, Alvin, shut up. Okay, dude, you was gone.
Unless because the world, I don't know, and I'm stretching. This is a stretch.
Well, there is no. You stretch a lot, so.
Their underwater thing is surrounded by vibranium.
It's not how that works, my brother. It's not how it works.
I know. See,
it's not how it works.
Then again,
it's not how it works.
There again, I'm stretching. Maybe the vibranium.
You stretching, but I'm not gonna let you. I'm not gonna let you go.
And their vibranium was a little bit different. Is a little bit different than the other vibranium.
No, it's all the same vibranium. It's just used differently.
Oh well.
So they came from the same. This came from the same place.
Yeah, the meteor.
So if Wakanda got snapped, then they can get snapped.
But Wakanda was outside. Wakanda City wasn't surrounded by vibranium. They protecting the vibranium in the hills.
I'm not gonna let you reach that far.
You don't want to bow down to a great imagination. I understand.
I'm not gonna bow down no bullshit. You can call it whatever you want.
Hey, the vibranium is more powerful than you think.
Okay, so speaking of vibranium, you know that they're talking about the vibranium. Okay, I don't know the seed that was in the earth that came up and everything. You saw his head sticking up, and his hand is out, right? Mm-hmm. They're talking about the armor that the what are they called, those gods?
Celestials.
The Celestials. That's actual vibranium. So what they're saying is, and this is they're talking about in the movie, in the plot, is that in the future movie, they're going to be fighting for that because in the Wakanda, that's the main thing that they was going for, the vibranium that was in Wakanda. Now that there's if they go this route, they say if they make the armor and everything, or his whole being vibranium, there's a healthy supply of it in the earth now, and they're going to be fighting for that.
I've heard that. Mm,
That's going to be an interesting plot.
that'll be an interesting plot. That is not a big movie plot. That is a
I don't know. I think it is because that's kind of what Wakanda was. That's how it started out.
well, I mean,
That last one, the Wakanda Forever, that's the main plot for everybody else in the world. That's why people was attacking them and trying to steal from. Matter of fact, before that, the first one they was people still been stealing vibranium. That's why they went after that dude that killed his dad.
but it would seem like to mine vibranium, you had to have some vibranium. What's going to cut it?
I don't know. They figure something out. I don't know.
Because yeah, if they ain't got nothing, if they don't have a vibranium weapon, how they gonna cut it?
They had vibranium in that museum in the first movie.
Yeah, but Killmonger took that.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying there's vibranium around. Is what I'm getting at. There's in other sources, and that dude, and they've been stealing vibranium for a couple of decades because his brother was trying to stop the dude back in the 70s. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
vibranium is out in the world. It's out there.
Yeah.
It's just So I'm not saying that they but again they can invent some movie way, and then also let's be an understanding of this. In Endgame, um, um, Thanos' sword cut through Captain America's shield.
You're right.
Okay, so that's not the only source. There's sources out there that are stronger than vibranium, and then everything got snapped away. I mean, all of Thanos' people got snapped away. I don't think his equipment got snapped away. I don't think his weaponry got snapped away.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? They snap away all living things. I'm not. This could be me speculating, but I don't think his weaponry got snapped away.
I don't know. It just and it sort of seemed like the Black Panther movie just showed a world greed.
It showed the wickedness, their wickedness. But here, but okay, that's a perfect transition. Thank you for bringing that up. At the end of the first Black Panther, when I think it's the after credit scene, T'Challa and his guards went to where all the world leaders meet. I forgot the name of it.
Yeah, the UN. The UN.
Mm-hmm. And he was like, he's made the speech and said, we in Wakanda, we've been closed off. When we didn't. Now we want to share our resources. And they looked at you like, y'all ain't nothing but a bunch of farmers. What you got to offer us?
Right.
Okay, now that they showed them, like, man, we stronger than you. Now they're scared.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now they're scared. Like, okay, you got to share this because you can't be the only major power.
You gotta wonder how they felt when their top agents all came walking through those doors in handcuffs.
Yeah, the top people. It's like, and they was beating about women with spears. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just like, but that's what I'm saying. It showed their wickedness.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying, across everything, and that's one of the things I'm saying, that it's that fear now, especially now, because you've had all these aliens come to Earth. You had Thanos snap out half the population. You had all these different attacks. You have all these different things going on. People are they're panicked. You know what I'm saying? So that's why one of the things that they were talking about in this the celestial, that dead celestial being full of vibranium and everybody coming after it. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the things. So that's one of the things that they were talking about. But yeah, that is interesting though. And I would love to hear them go from that switch as y'all just some farmers to damn, y'all need to share this. Y'all need to share. Give me a couple of spears or something.
I know, right?
So it's just like it's that big transition.